Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Chapter 17, the Periodic Chart. We are today going to be talking about the structures of the periodic chart, Part 4. Yesterday we talked about the boron and carbon families. Today we're going to talk about the nitrogen family. Okay, just a reminder that the families are generally named after the first element at the top of the column, unless they have specialized names like alkali metals or alkali earth metals. Okay, and as of course you know by now, because it is 5A, that means that all of them have 5 valence electrons. Okay, we're going to start at the top with nitrogen itself. And what you might not realize with nitrogen is that nitrogen actually makes up about 78% of our atmosphere when it is bonded with itself. So it shows up as N2. However, as much as we need nitrogen, we cannot get it from the atmosphere. It goes in and out when we breathe, but we cannot keep any of it in that form. And in fact, there's very few things that can. Okay, some of those things are called legumes. And you can see what they are is they are specifically types of plants. And if you pay attention and know your plants pretty well, you'll see that all of these actually are types of beans or something that's like a bean. Okay, they're not really beans, but they kind of look like them. All of these legumes are unique plants, and there's others besides these, in that they can actually take nitrogen from the air, and they have these special bacteria that live intertwined and within their roots, and they actually will put nitrogen into the soil so that it's in a different form. It's called nitrogen fixing. Remember, to fix is to kind of change and make it usable. Also rather unusual is that when there is lightning, it changes the nitrogen and makes it into a usable form. And the rain actually then brings it down and puts it into the soil. It is needed for good plant growth. Therefore, it is oftentimes found in fertilizers, because not everywhere do we have these legumes. So people add fertilizers to the soil. You also could add dead plants, things like mulch and things like that, that would have the nitrogen already in it, or something like manure would have nitrogen in it because it's been processed plant material. You might not be aware, however, is that bag of chips that you have, they actually fill up with nitrogen and remove the oxygen before they seal it. This helps keep bacteria from being able to grow and live inside your chips. Nitrogen is very cheap because there's an awful lot of it, so it's very easy for them to have access to it, to put it in the chips to keep the bacteria from growing. Now, we need nitrogen too, not just in our muscles, which is what we often use it for. Plant structure needs it, but primarily every living thing needs it, because it is part of our nucleic acids. Our DNA and RNA are made out of nitrogen bases. So we have to have nitrogen in our diet, and we get that a lot from foods that we eat. An industrial use besides potato chips would be nitrous oxide, which is a combination of nitrogen and oxygen, which is commonly referred to as laughing gas. And that's usually used by dentists to help you relax and feel great while they drill holes in your teeth. A rather startling use of nitrogen is that nitrogen actually can be used for explosives. Some of the largest explosives are nitrogen-based. Nitrogen has many, many other uses, including things like ammonia for cleaning, which you would find in things like Windex, as well as other things. But this just gives you an idea of some of the ways that nitrogen would be used. Okay, next down on the periodic chart would be phosphorus. Again, a nutrient that is needed. You can see that it is found in various types of fish and seafood. It is found in most types of meat, dairy products. It doesn't have it on there, but eggs, your green peas, mushrooms, just a lot of different things from the ocean especially have phosphorus because you can find it a lot in the ocean. Now, just like nitrogen, phosphorus is a needed nutrient for plants. So it is oftentimes found in fertilizers as well with the nitrogens. Phosphorus is often used in fireworks. It is apparently what makes all those sparkles that you watch when the fireworks kind of fade away, all those little sparkly things coming down. Phosphorus is also used in safety matches, the ones with the red ends. And one thing that they have been used for throughout relatively modern history is that they have been used as tracer bullets. What you are seeing is not time-lapse so much as when the bullet fires, it forms a line that's visible to see. These started getting used way back. This is a black and white picture. They were used in World War I because you would have attacks that happened at night. They are still used in modern warfare in order to be able to see where you are actually shooting, because in the dark, and sometimes even during the day, it is hard to tell. During the day, what you would see is more of a smoke trail, and at night you would see this visible white line. So the phosphorus bullets would be intermingled with the regular bullets in combat. So phosphorus has been used for a lot of things as well. Okay, next down on the periodic chart is arsenic. Arsenic has, in the past and even now to some extent, it is kind of taking up popularity again, been used for bronzing things. This is often done for things like shoes and stuff that is relatively soft to preserve them and make a memento out of them. They are electroplated, and in that process, arsenic compounds are used. Now, you don't want to just go, licking your shoes, I guess, after they've been bronzed because, well, I'm guessing they clean them. But rat poison is one of the main uses of arsenic. It is widely used in order to protect crops from rats and some insects. And if you notice there, the mention of tobacco. Tobacco is one of the few plants that actually will take up the arsenic from the pesticides, so that when somebody is smoking cigarettes or chewing tobacco, they actually have arsenic found in the tobacco. So it might want to make you rethink the idea of smoking if you've ever taken that up. I hope not. Okay, there's a lot of nasty things in tobacco for smoking. Now, a problem with arsenic that might be a little more personal is the fact that when you have a deep well, arsenic is found naturally in rock, and if you dig a deep well, there is the possibility that your well water might be contaminated with arsenic. It is highly recommended that if you have never had a deep well that you're using tested to see if it has arsenic in it, you really need to do that, because arsenic has no color, it has no flavor, there is no way to tell it's there without doing the test. If you have a shallow well, you're probably fine, but arsenic is a natural substance that's found in the rock underground. Um, Speaking of arsenic, there is a movie from long ago. Um, it's based on a play. It's called Arsenic and Old Lace. It is what is referred to as a dark comedy, in that it is a comedy, but there's also death involved. It's not gory or anything, but if you get really bored, you can always try to look up and watch Arsenic and Old Lace. This is probably the most popular version with Cary Grant. Um, I like it. But you can use your knowledge of your newfound knowledge of arsenic while you're watching the play. Okay. If you want to study other elements in the group, go right ahead. We are not going to. So I will talk with you tomorrow. Have a good night.